So the United States government has created a new crisis. Some are saying that this is going to cost us more than $100 billion, and this is going to impact every single one of us. I will address what that means for you and I moving forward. I will do that in just a second. All I ask is if you enjoy these daily updates, do me a favor, it takes just 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button, and let's begin. So 11 days ago, Hamas attacked Israel. 15 days ago, the House of Representatives removed the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, and 18 days ago, Congress approved a short-term stopgap bill that kept the U.S. government funded until November 17th. Now, these dates might not matter to you yet, but they soon will. And the reason for this is because everybody wants and needs answers. The American people can't sit around and wait to see if the U.S. government is going to stay open past November 17th. Can't wait for Congress to play their political games and see who will be the next Speaker of the House. And when it comes to Israel and Gaza, now we're seeing mass loss of life from just ordinary, regular, everyday people. This is insane. But what does this mean for us moving forward? Well, this is one of the reasons why President Biden spent time in Israel today. He needed to show his support to our closest ally in the Middle East, which is Israel. And he has vowed to support Israel any way that they need. Now, I bring this up because of what is taking place over the past week. And yes, it has to do with Israel, but it's not the missiles and the bombings and that stuff and the loss of life. No. It's the other stuff. For instance, here's what the Biden administration wants to do. They want to send more money to Israel. They want to send additional funding to Ukraine. And now sources are saying that they want to tie Israel and Ukraine to border security, disaster relief, and Taiwan. Yeah, they're throwing Taiwan in there as well. Because what the Biden administration is worried about is if they do support, and when I say they, I'm talking about if the United States does support Israel, this could create an issue with China. It's already creating an issue with Iran, but this could potentially create a massive issue with China. And if the United States starts to give more of our military equipment and munitions to a place like Israel, guess what? It depletes our stock. And this is when some are worried that China could then go and invade Taiwan because the United States would not be as well equipped as we have been in the past. Now, according to recent reports, the Biden administration, according to the Biden administration officials, they have been working on a package to give to Congress. And this package is going to include more funding. But the funding isn't necessarily going to Ukraine and going to Israel. It's going to the United States government, to our defense budget, so that we can then replenish our stockpiles. Because again, it's been dwindling down for the past year or so. And one official says, and I quote, "We can't continue to provide support while not replenishing what we use." And I think that's absolutely true. This brings me to the next point. And this is possibly the biggest issue right now is funding. How much will the next bill potentially cost? Well, according to multiple reports from the Washington Post, Bloomberg, Reuters, and Politico, President Biden's plan is to send $100 billion as an aid package to Ukraine, to Israel, and it would also include funds for domestic border issues and also disaster relief. And we will throw in funding for Taiwan in there as well. However, some GOP members say no, this is not necessary, and all these bills should be separate. Now, we still don't know how much money is going to go towards domestic issues and disaster relief. Okay? Some reports are indicating that the border security and disaster relief would actually receive the least amount of funding possible. They'd get the least amount. Israel and Ukraine would receive the most. but according to a few lawmakers earlier on today and yesterday, they are saying that all money that is appropriated towards Ukraine should automatically be sent to Israel. Now, I know a lot of people keep on asking why Congress just won't approve more money, why they are sending so much more money to Ukraine than they are committing to localized issues. And honestly, I wish I could tell you. Just today, we saw, I think hundreds of people were protesting inside one of the wings of the Capitol building, inside the offices. And it's simply because they are wanting answers. But here's what I can tell you. I can't tell you why lawmakers aren't willing to spend more money on the American people and give us, other things. But what I can tell you is that everything has to do with funding. Now, I want to explain how some of these funds could be used. Not that they will, how they could be used if lawmakers just thought a little bit differently. We'll start off with Social Security, and we'll also dive into SNAP benefits as well. What we know is currently the Social Security benefit program costs about $1.4 trillion per year. If Ukraine gets an additional $24 billion like they're expected to, if not more, if they get that this year, they would have received over $130 billion in funding. That $130 billion, based off of what Social Security is paying today, that would be about 9.2%. Okay? So if Social Security recipients received a 9.2% increase, the average Social Security recipient receives about $1,705 per month. But if you add on 9.2%, that would come out to $1,861.86, or $156.86 per month as a raise. That's a pretty substantial raise. Let's also address SNAP beneficiaries as well, because right now the United States is supplying SNAP benefits to more than 40 million Americans every single month. SNAP benefits cost the United States roughly $140 billion per year, and just this new funding going to Israel, Ukraine, border security, and potentially disaster relief is going to cost at least $100 billion according to all these reports, meaning SNAP recipients could receive an additional 71% as an increase. Think about that. Now, I don't want to get your hopes up and get you guys thinking that the United States Congress is about to send us 71% more in SNAP benefits. That's not going to happen. But I wanted to put these numbers into perspective for you so you understand how much is potentially going from your pocket to people in Ukraine, to Israel for border security, for disaster relief, and potentially Taiwan. Again, we don't know the exact numbers yet, but all reports are indicating it's $100 billion for the collective group. Okay? So just keep that in mind. But here's where things get very tricky. We know Congress is trying to negotiate a bunch of different things. They're trying to negotiate funding for Ukraine and Israel. And they are going to get get this negotiated. They will finalize the deal. But can they get this bill approved? This is where things get tricky, and this is where we have a massive problem. Even though Congress could potentially negotiate these bills, negotiate the numbers, do everything, they cannot pass the bill. They can't pass a bill until the Speaker pro tempore gets the authority to bring the bill to the floor, which the House of Representatives would need to approve of, or the House of Representatives would need to choose the next speaker. And this is where we're actually running into problems. Right now, the Democrats are getting more votes on their side for their choice of speaker than the Republicans. And Republicans hold the majority. Just to give you an idea, today we saw the second vote for Speaker of the House. Representative Jim Jordan is the front runner for Republicans, and he got 200 votes yesterday in the first vote, in the first round of voting. Today, in the second round of voting, he got 198 votes, 2 less than yesterday. Now, Democrats' choice is Hakeem Jeffries. He received every single vote from Democrats, which is over 200. I think he got like 206 or 208 votes today. But still, he's short of the 217 votes needed for the gavel. And he's not going to get those numbers unless Republicans jump on board with him. And they would need 9 Republicans to jump in with every single Democrat in order to vote for Democratic front runner Hakeem Jeffries. So until we have a speaker, right now all we're hearing is negotiations and discussions regarding additional funding for Ukraine, for Israel, additional border security, for disaster relief, and also Taiwan. So I wish I could tell you that, hey, things are turning around, everything is going good, but honestly, this $100 billion is just the start. The U.S. government has created a crisis by sending just billions and billions of dollars to other countries, and now every single country wants their hand out so that they can give them a little bit more. So we will see what happens moving forward, but as always, as we get more information, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.